Right, sorry about that. We should now be good to go for this. Right, we'll jump into training, because goodness me, it's going to take a bit of messing about to get the hang of this, because it does feel a little bit strange. Hopefully it's saved the controller inputs as well, because last time I had to reset them every time I quit the game. Right, we got options. We've got options. It's all fair enough. I've actually found vertical flight difficulty on hard is actually easiest. Doesn't seem to work on medium, where it was supposed to just be manual pitch, and the throttle would change to just be literally up and down, which does seem to work. These weapons loads options don't seem to work, because I can select guns, but I'll still start up with sidewinders and bombs. Of course, the Harrier is weight limited when it comes to vertical flight and hovering, so we don't want full fuel and we don't want weapons. Otherwise we'll really be struggling. Okay. There you go, I've still got 4 bombs. Right, straight away we'll get our head-up display to take-off mode. Right, flaps we will leave on automatic. I mean, that's generally what you would do on a Harrier anyway. Brake is on. If we turn the brake off, we'll start going backwards for some reason. Quite rapidly as well. If anything, you would be going forwards, because the Harrier is quite high thrust. Right, first thing you've got to do is close the canopy. Otherwise you'll be flying around with that open, and that's not a good idea. I think it's a bit unnecessary having a manual canopy in this, but whatever. Okay, for all intents and purposes we should be ready to go, so let's do some proper Harrier stuff. What we want to do is drop the nozzles to about 10 degrees right there. And you do that to try and keep most of the wash off the stabilizers at the back, the horizontal tail, because they can interfere with it a bit. It's just a standard operating procedure in a Harrier, but you don't want to rotate them any further than that, otherwise you're just wasting acceleration. The manual says 30 degrees, which you don't do. Right, so the brake's on. We want to slam the throttle open. Nozzles are at 10 degrees. As we approach the end of the deck, we'll want to vector the nozzles to about 40 degrees, which will give us all, well, between 40 and 60 sort of thing. It's depending on weight, which will launch us into the air. It would be easier with a ski jump, but the Americans didn't want to do that. So, throttle up. That stabilise a bit. Brake off. And 40 degrees. And we're up and climbing away. Gear up. 15 degrees, nose up, still accelerating. And rotate the nozzles back to 0 degrees. There we go, short takeoff from the carrier deck. Simples. Now straight away I'm going to point out my biggest complaint with the game so far is you might see the head is bobbing around like this. That's not view control, it's not track IR or anything. What they've done is they've decided to map the pilot's viewpoint to the main joystick. So when you move the stick left, you look out the window like this. And, you know, same if you look right. That's completely automatic. I've got no control over that, and I cannot turn it off. So if we're in a dogfight, you know, the camera's going to be doing all this kind of thing all on its own. Which might not be so bad in a dogfight, but it's a massive pain in the arse when you're trying to land. We can throttle back a bit now. Right, I should have probably picked a better time of day, but never mind. I've got a bit of a problem here in that the stream indicator shadow play is covering the bottom right, so I can't tell what my throttle settings are. We'll just switch this over to landing mode. One little problem I've noticed, if we select air-to-air mode, which is here, the Sidewinder will now continuously growl regardless of mode, unless we go back into air-to-air mode. That shuts it up, and now we can select Sidewinder and deselect it. The only way I could fix that the first time I found it was to quit the game completely, so one for the bug list. Tell you what, get the sun shining in the cockpit and have a little look around. Go this way and roll it over. There we go. Alright, before we do any landing stuff, I want to get rid of those bombs I mentioned. So air to ground, yeah, we've got 4 bombs despite picking guns only as our loadout. We also need to adjust our trim a bit. About 7 will keep us nice and level right now. Yeah, that's about, maybe down a touch. That's about right. Alright, so let's drop these bombs somewhere, get rid of them. We have a diamond style CCIP, which is fair enough. Bomb's gone. As far as I can tell at the minute, you only drop 1 bomb at a time. You can't sort of rapidly ripple drop them, even if they are dumb bombs. Just messing about a bit now with the rudder. Alright, there go all the bombs. Right, now there's a runway around here. In fact, we're flowing past it, so we'll just have a little short landing there. Demonstrate the little problem I've got with the flight path indicator. Showing you basics of flight sims. That little cross in the middle of the head-up display, that would be basically where the nose is pointing. And the little picture of the symbol of the airplane underneath it, the little wings, circle with the wings and tail, should be our flight path indicator, basically where we're actually going. So in theory, as long as that flight path indicator is above the horizon, we should always be climbing. But once we start slowing down, that won't be the case, and it's a bit of a problem when you're trying to land. I'm gonna head right, flick to landing, head up display mode, keep an eye on the airfield. Start throttling back as well. I could do an RAF style approach, but at the minute, with this sort of wobbly that thing going on, moving the stick, it's nicer to have a nice long approach to stabilise. Right, air brake out, wash off some of the speed. Short landing will be done with about 40 degrees nozzle. Right, and there's the runway. Right, there we go, 40 degrees nozzle, gear down. You can see what I mean, as I'm making these slight pitch adjustments and the camera's wanting to move about, and that's where it just gets a little bit annoying. Right, so if you watch the flight path indicator right now, you can see it's at the horizon. In theory, we should be flying at level. But as you can see by looking at the right, we're actually dropping at 1,200 feet per minute. So that is just not working. In theory, what you would do with the land is you would have that symbol over the end of the runway and use that to fly in with. But the way it is right now, I'm pretty sure we would hit the ground before yeah, before the runway. We're dropping quite rapidly, so I'm just going to start throttling up again. See, I've got it at the horizon right now, but we're still dropping at about 700 feet per minute. Yeah, runway's missing textures. A couple of planes are as well. But it does have landing lights. Right, we're dropping at about 500 feet a minute right now. Oh, this is really counterintuitive for flying. I'm not sure what speed units these are supposed to be in either, because if that's 200 knots, we're ridiculously fast, but we still want to drop like a rock. Nope, I think we're down. Yep, we're down. Problem with the Harrier as well is that it likes to fly with it's got a lot of nose up because of the landing gear arrangement. When it sits on the ground, it's actually got about... What the... Alright, the rudder's reversed because we're actually going backwards right now for some reason. That was a short landing then. Well, supposed to be a short landing. We used the whole runway because we had to come in at about 200 whatever. Let's just throttle a little bit, take the brake off, get ourselves turned around. Ground handling is still just a little bit strange because the wind seems to affect it very badly. But we'll do a vertical takeoff, and to do that best we'll want to be heading into the wind so we don't have any crosswind factor. Which means we should use that little wind vane on the bottom right of the hood. It's actually outside. Just there, it's in the centre right now, so it looks like the wind is over here somewhere. Assuming it's working. Oh, look at the speed of going backwards right now, just because I've got the brake off. There we go. In fact, I'm not even sure that wind speed indicator is working properly. Oh dear. Right, so yeah, since the Harrier sits on the ground with quite a bit of nose up, when you want to take off, you actually want to have 80 degrees of nozzle, not 90. Manual says 90, that's wrong, because since the nose is up, if we have 90 degrees, we'll actually start flying backwards as soon as we leave the ground. So the hover stop is in fact about 80, about 82 degrees, but we can't get that precise. Switch outside. Wheels are still moving, although we are apparently stationary. In fact, those wheels are really spinning. Whoops. Right. Take off. To about 80%, make sure we're happy. Since I took that fuel out and we dropped the bombs, we're quite happy to take off with about 90% throttle. So we've got a nice safety margin for our hovering. Gear up. Now we'll start getting a warning tone. That's just a sidewinder. This is on the most realistic hover mode. So I've got full control over the throttle, pitch and the nozzles. You can see we're heading sideways right now. Actually we're heading backwards as well. Because for some reason... Yep, that'll actually be the wind that's doing that probably. That's right, because I've turned tail side to the wind. We've got tailwind right now, so... Right, and we'll start transitioning. Which means putting up some nose up as we vector the nozzles backwards so we don't start just sinking like a rock. There we go, transition from vertical takeoff to forward flight. And the carrier is over here. I managed to land on the carrier once. I have to see if we can do it again. Still got the brake open, that's part of the problem. Okay, vertical landing, things are probably going to get a bit busy. Right, 1,500 feet, 400, I presume 400 knots. 400 knots would not be Mach 0.6, so I don't know what those units are in, but it's confusing the hell out of me. It should be knots indicated airspeed, but I've got a hunch it might be in ground speed. Right, okay, throttle back. Bleed off speed in the turn. About 40 degrees nozzle. Have a very long approach. Take ourselves, probably want to get down to about 500 feet before we get too close. Ooh, getting funny, some funny distortions on the canopy there. It's a reflection. Right, gear down. Brake in. $80 degrees nozzle selected. Right, gonna vector a bit into the hover stop. Well, a full braking stop actually, because we're pretty fast. Transition onwards to the side. I prefer if I could see the actually what I'm going to have to do is fly backwards a bit here because I've gone past the superstructure, so I've got no visual reference, which is not good. We're too high as well. Right, we've flown backwards a bit. Now if we can just get a bit lower so we can see where we want to go. Yeah, because in the hover you actually want to have about 8 degrees nose up, which means it's quite hard to see. And we're climbing far too rapidly now. It's such a juggling act. And the nose is too high. Oh, that's gone badly. Yeah, that's gone very badly. Oh dear. It'd be really nice to have some proper visual references. Right, we're still going backwards despite... Right, nozzle angle 80. Be nice if I could get rid of the cockpit frame. Where's our throttle at? We're still climbing right now, so way too bloody high, and we're still going backwards. Right, we're starting to descend finally. Still can't see the ships. But we have 0 airspeed. That's the good news. We're also dropping like a bloody rock now. Right, there we go. We can see the ship. Ooh, it's getting a bit close to the superstructure. We're just about there. No, don't you start a climb now, you bastard. There we go. For as bad as that looked, pretty close to the centre line. Whew. Oh, if I turn the brake off, we start going backwards again. So we sort of crashed once, but we recovered and then we managed to get on the deck. Oh yeah, I gotta open the canopy. If I'm right, F2 should be... yeah, the deck view. It'd be quite interesting to have a replay of that one, I think. Right. Let's see what's next. Basic maneuvering, wingman landing. Well, we've covered most of that, I think. What's our wingman want we to do? Ah. Yeah. Early access. Okay. Oh, and it's not full screen. That's the second crash to desktop I've had with this so far. Unfortunately, when I put it full screen, it wants to put it at 23 frames a second. Let's try that again, shall we? Nope, that mission doesn't work. Right, we shall leave our wingman alone then. We'll try dogfight. Back to 60 frames a second and full screen. Dogfight. Hopefully that works. Hooray! Okay, pre-flight. Bum 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 bum. Alright, we'll just have all that the way it is. So even though this is dogfight, we're still equipped with 4 bombs. Right, put flaps to automatic, because that's generally how you would have them anyway. 10 degrees nozzle. I'm going to say that's something I think that can change, is if you use different views, such as this, which is fair enough, when you want to go back to the cockpit, it doesn't just go to the cockpit, it has this transition effect, and it just wastes time. Now it says gear retracting in the corner. I haven't done that and it's not retracting, because if I press the button the gear actually will retract. I don't know if that's supposed to take a radio transmission from the wingman. Actually that might be what it is. Right, okay, throttle up. Nozzles are at 10 degrees, 100%, brake off. We're not straight on the deck for some reason, and 40 degrees nozzle, slowly transition. There we go. You're up. Right, wingman's heading over here. Just shut the sidewinders up for now. Don't actually know where I'm supposed to go for this dogfight. Have I got a nav mode? Nope, I don't actually. Got air to air, air to ground, aerial refueling, take off landing. We don't have a navigation mode. So let's just try following our wingman. Perhaps he shall guide us. Well, aren't you showing off a bit? I wonder if I'm supposed to be dogfighting him. Let's presume so. Whoa, that looks a bit sideways. What the hell? I saw the vortices going off in there. He was going at about, his nose was about 50 degrees yaw right from his direction of flight. That is certainly an interesting flight technique. Oh, he hasn't ended up in the water. I think he's ended up in the sea. Yeah, he's gone. Oh well, I suppose I won that dogfight then. AI needs tweaking. I think that's going to be our verdict there. Shut up the sidewinders. Right, so I suppose there's much else for us to do here. I'll stick the we've got an autopilot, which I don't know if it actually functions as an autopilot. I might just make a sort of heading hold. But yeah, I don't seem to have any sort of waypoint markers in the hood. Nope. Let's just trim my nose up a bit. Right, now the autopilot's doing its thing. Let's just see what is clickable in this cockpit. Alright, we can zoom in. I don't think any of that's dynamic. Oh look, we've got a picture of a baby. That's the H2O switch, which doesn't seem to be active. And we can look at the panels, but I don't think we can actually do anything with them yet. What's our airspeed? We're going a bit fast, so we'll just throttle down. Oh, hello, this map. Alright, so if this is active, then I should be on a heading that's about 120 degrees then. Assuming that was working, because it was definitely displaying something. Yeah, see? I'm going to take it that's where we're supposed to go. Do we have a functioning autopilot here? Or is that a silly question at this point? Right, gonna take it to about 120 degrees. Shame about our wingman. Hardly got to know him. Okay, so now we should be going over this way, it seems. I still don't really have any kind of... Oh. Alright, so the hood mode's also affecting these things. Alright, so that's our air-to-air radar. If we go to air-to-ground mode, get the weapons. No, that's air-to-ground mode. It's takeoff mode. Alright, that was fuel mode. Fair enough. So if we're in air-to-air mode, I was seeing something on the radar there. It's air to ground. Yep, there we go. Oh, that must be ground targets then. Yeah, we got some ground targets by the looks of it. Yeah, it's a valid point. This is not... I mean, it does say when you start that you're located in the US training zone. This is a lot of views to cycle through to get back to the cockpit. There we go. It's our jamming pod.
Sniper X locked on.
Yep, 3 targets over here. Presumably these are going to be ground targets since I'm in the air-to-ground mode. So, Let's get a bit lower. I am a Brit, and if I am to fly a Harrier, I must be flying at 250 feet. Although that is more difficult than it needs to be, because the camera is swinging around whenever I move the stick. Oh, I don't know why they thought this was a good idea. I mean, it might look better to watch, but it's bloody horrible to try and play with. See, I want to see what's in front of me! No, that's just not... You cannot do that with the camera doing that. Oh, that's not... Oof. Lost our targets as well. Let's climb up and do a better scan for them. Yeah, if nothing else is going to happen here, I might have another shot at landing on the carrier and then just call it quits. From the mission, I mean, because ain't no dogfighting going on here. Oh well, at least it's going to help we'll find the fleet. Oh boy. Throttle right back. Yeah, there's definitely potential, but there is some things that really do need some tweaking, and in some cases fixing. I think at least that camera thing should be a toggle. If you don't want the camera moving around all over the place when you're moving the stick, it you know, shouldn't be forced on you. Right. I'm also not very happy with the flight path indicator, like I've been saying. I mean, right now the flight path indicator is about 2.5 degrees nose up, yet I'm dropping it over 200 feet a minute. Yeah, especially right there. If I'm dropping at 1,200 feet a minute, that flight path indicator should be well below the horizon. Well, let's see if we can do it first time this time. Ooh, let's get rid of these bombs. just to make sure we've got our nice safety margin. I never wanted to be loaded with bombs. I picked, well, actually no, I did have air-to-air mixed, didn't I? Right, we're climbing right now and I don't really want that. That's what makes it difficult when you can't see where you're landing. Nope, 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 nope. We're not going to overcome the momentum. Ah, bugger. Actually, I'm a lot heavier than last time. I've still got the extra fuel on. It's part of the problem. Now look at this. I'm just trying to keep the nose level, but the camera's doing all this wobbling about. No, don't stop climbing. Stop climbing. Please stop climbing. Yeah, we're a bit heavy for this. That was a lot worse than last time. Oh, so what else have we got? Dogfight, which wasn't a dogfight because the wingman flew into the ground. Oh dear. Right, so it looks like we can't try out the harpoons. I'm just going to do this time. I'm going to get that to what it should be, put it on full screen, then quit the game. Apply the changes, yes. Back, 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 quit. Now hopefully it'll have saved them, and if it crashes again I won't have to do that every single time. That's the theory. I think the game would benefit from having a HUD-only view where you can turn off the cockpit and everything, because given the limitations of, you know, for most people playing on a TV screen without things like track IR, an untextured MiG-21, the cockpit really is, you know, it's not something real pilots have to deal with. You know, they can look outside kind of thing. You're a bit more restricted. Training. Right, so the harpoon didn't work. How about bombs? Yay! There we go, Eastern Seaboard Training Area, USA, that's where we are. Eastern Seaboard, so technically it shouldn't be Hawaii. Yeah, that'll do. Let's take out quite a bit of the fuel. Ooh, we're a bit close to the front of the deck this time. Right, 10 degrees nozzle. Good job I took some of that fuel out. Oh, this is looking a bit different. This is looking a bit more deserty. Alright, full throttle. Brakes off. Off the end of the deck. 50 degrees nozzle this time, I think. And away we go. Right, approach the training area. Where's the training area? Ah. Oh, what happened to a good old navigation mode? That's a lot of markers on that. Oh dear, reselect out-of-air mode to turn off the sidewinders. Right.
Sniper X locked on.
So, where's my targets?
Sniper X locked on.
Is it these ships all around here? That's what it kind of looks like. It's sort of difficult to tell. Definitely needs a navigation mode in the HUD to give you waypoint markers. So I'm gonna presume I'm supposed to bomb these ships. Why is my pilot's head popping up in the view? Except I don't seem to have these ships seem to have gone. Do we have a target padlock view? I suppose that's what that is, sort of. Well, there's lots of views of the waves. Okay. So this is the eastern seaboard, apparently, for the USA. I don't know, to me it looks kind of like a volcanic island or something, like Gran Canaria or Lanzarote. Okay, no targets around this way, and this is just going to be the fleet where I took off, isn't it?
Sniper X locked on. Sniper X locked on.
Okay. Yeah, that's going to be the carrier, isn't it? Where the hell's the bombing range? Give me something to work with, game. I mean, is this... I don't know, these could be the targets, I suppose. Maybe. Hello. Popping the head in every time you move the stick right.
Sniper X locked on.
Just gonna have to look at the mission planning, I think, to try and get even a vague idea of where the targets are. Right, okay, let's try restarting this. Now, is restart going to put her on the deck? Yes, it's going to put us on the deck. So, quit flight, bombs, pre-flight, plan mission, right. Okay. This might be planning the mission, but we don't seem to have any... Alright, okay, okay. So these must be the targets then. And the only things that are red, so which one's me? Right, I'm up there. Okay. Alright, okay, so we should have to just fly that way towards 3 targets. I mean, can I put waypoints or something? Nav assignment. Alright, I suppose what I'm going to do is I'll have to use completely visual flight rules, as we'll fly along the coastline until we see this... until we see E.T. holding his finger up. And then we'll turn right out to sea and there should be 3 targets. That's the only way I can really imagine doing this, if we're honest. Right, can't be closed. Flaps auto. Nozzles 10 degrees, full throttle, brakes off. Vector the nozzles as we go off the deck. Gear up. There's the coastline. Hey, Bramlace, it's going. Been kind of doing a lot of shark stuff lately, so haven't had much time for streaming. But we've got a Harrier game, so can't resist it. In fact, I'm probably screwing myself over here because I should really record some dialogue, and I'm just going to screw my voice over by doing it to stream. Right, got bombs on. What we'll do is we'll just follow the coast until we find that strange outcropping, and we'll turn out to sea. Yes, I guess that is showing where our targets are. Let's have a closer look. Wait, what? Nah. That can't be the targets. That's the 3 ships we saw on the map which were not targets. Ah, there's the weird outcropping. There's our targets. There we go. Okay. Break right.
Sniper X locked on.
Oh, these guys are actually shooting at me. That's a bit different then. Okay. Probably shouldn't have decided to look at chat there while on an attack run. It needs a lot of work. There is... I've had about like 5 crashes to desktop already. There are certain missions which will guarantee to crash it out. We can't, for example, try the harpoon mission. You know, learning to use a harpoon anti-ship missile, because that is an instant CTD.
Sniper X locked on.
And I don't like this camera. Oh. Well, god damn it. My allies took them out before... Oh. Go to the bombing range. Drop some bombs. Targets shoot at you. Allies destroy your targets. Alright, nothing else for us to do now, is there? Ugh. I mean, it's always hard to say what feels like Harrier. It's hard to get a feel for it in a lot of ways, just because of the camera doing this sort of thing when I'm trying to fly. Right, we're not going to try doing a carrier landing. We'll just try doing a vertical landing wherever it looks like a nice bit of terrain. Which may be more difficult than I thought. That's a nice bullseye on the ground. Why couldn't I be dropping my bombs on that? I'm not seeing any landing areas, to be brutally honest. Oh, the cockpit lighting's glitching out a bit. I'll probably stick with this for the price rather than refund it, but it needs a lot of work still. Like, a lot of work to fix the bugs and polish it up. Bloody give me an option to fix the camera, because I don't want it doing this whenever I move the stick. Ah, I'm having a seizure! Yeah, this is just all mountains. Not even any roads or anything. Oh, hang on. Ooh, that's not good. Okay. Carrier or carrier, why have you positioned yourself with land to your rear? Yeah, just to re-demonstrate like one of the problems at the minute to give an idea of here. Right, you can see right there my flight path indicator is slightly above the horizon, but I'm still dropping at about 500 feet a minute, 600 feet a minute. So the flight path indicator doesn't work, which is a bit of a problem, especially when you're trying to land. You know what I could try doing? I could try doing a Soapy Watson and landing on the container ships, because that's what he had to do when his Sea Harrier ran out of fuel. He landed on a Spanish container ship. Mind you, these don't... that might be a bit ambitious in a sim, because... you know, real containers aren't the biggest, most stable of things, and this is not the most stable of aircraft. No, I don't think I'm going to be landing on those decks. Right. How badly can it go wrong this time? Actually, jettison my bombs, which I didn't get to drop. Mission objective complete. Drop bombs on target range. Yeah. Yeah, totally did. I see, I wish I could get rid of the cockpit view so I could actually see the carrier at the minute. I've got no kind of instrument landing system either. So basically I just need to get lower, which is happening very rapidly, I must say. Oh, there's the ship. Right, try and keep about 8 degrees nose up. In theory, transition sideways onto the carrier. I wish I had a proper nozzle nudge. Alright, gently down, gently down. Come on. Hey, that was better. Where were we? Yeah? Oh, that's, my external views seem to be a bit balked at the moment. But at least, oh god. Okay, we are very close to the superstructure. Oh yeah. um, like a glove, I try to say convincingly. Whew. Oops. I've turned off the brake, so we're staying in place and the ship is speeding away at 6 knots. Or I'm going backwards very rapidly because of the wind. Brakes. So, Bomb's mission works, but we didn't get to it. Will the Mavericks work? Hold your breath. Nope, crash the desktop. Oh well, at least this time when I start it up, it should still be full screen. Oh, honestly, haven't even heard of House of the Dying Sun. Elaborate a bit on it for me, please. Harms? Nope. It seems that none of the advanced weapons are actually working, or just the missions with them aren't working. To be honest, if it's this, if this much of this stuff isn't working right now, they should have probably just cut it from the initial release. It looks really bad when half the menu options crash the game. I know it's early access, but that's why you do small-scale early access and add things in as you increase stability rather than having a load of broken features on day one. So that's nope, nope, maybe? That's okay. Don't know, that's broken. I don't know about these ones. Air-to-air missiles? This one works. Alright, so believe it or not, I'm actually using an Xbox controller for this at the moment. I've got the HOTAS over in the corner, but I've only been playing this quite, casually just to get a feel for it, so I'm just using an Xbox controller where the throttle is up and down on the D-pad and the nozzles are left and right on the D-pad. Take off and follow your waypoints. What waypoints? I never have any waypoints! You see, why an air-to-air mix? Should it not be that? Plan mission? Actually, to be honest, changing the weapons doesn't even seem to work. So I'm here. I take it this is going to be my target. Alright, am I changing his... Hang on a sec. Right, so am I going to have to make... Oh no, I'm here. Alright, so this is me. So navigation. Yeah, route. Yeah, so it looks like I've got to make my own navigation plans for this, so... Okay, that's... Well, it's unexpected, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. Yeah, get us there for the dogfight, and then I suppose... Use that as my initials. There we go, I've got a flight plan now. I'll look into it. I've been a bit preoccupied lately with, making stuff, stuff I've been buying. To keep a track on certain other things. Okay, so in theory, I've now going to have a flight plan. and I have an all aspect AMRAM loadout. Alright, so shut up, sidewinders. Ah, there we go, take off. Well, I don't see a flight plan on there. Oh, whatever. 10 degrees nozzle. Flaps to auto. Full throttle. Close the canopy. That's a good idea. Brake off is also a good idea. Looking backwards is not a good idea. 40 degrees nozzle off the deck. And away we go. Gear up. No, air-to-air mix is actually a mix of sidewinders and bombs. It means a mix of air-to-air and air-to-ground. It's just called air-to-air mix for some reason. It's the default loadout. Right, so in theory, my flight plan if the flight plan worked, I should have waypoints pointing us north, but I don't. And maybe I should just sort of spend a bit more time looking at the manual, but yeah, I don't seem to have, despite my planning, in air quotes, inverted commas. One thing I will say, it's nice and smooth. I mean, granted, I don't exactly have a weak graphics card, but I've had no frame rate problems. Though to be fair, these aren't exactly the best graphics in the world either. Okay, any targets want to play? Yeah, I suppose they are kind of inside the cockpit a little bit. Seeing as the canopy changes colour when you're in them. Not the canopy, the canopy frame. Okay, so the planning screen said the targets should have been pretty much northwest straight from takeoff. I'm seeing a whole lot of nothing. So I'll quickly bring up. At this point, given half the training missions don't work, I'll be very surprised if the campaign works. Controls... avionics. Hood brightness. See, there's quite a few options. More than you might even expect, but how many of them actually function is another matter. Nope. Okay, actually request to land. None of these are mapped. View weapons. I mean, apparently we're going to be aiming with a lightning pod, so that's very EF-2000 and F-22 ADF. General flight. Nope. No, I don't see anything for water injection. Not active. Yeah, I don't actually see anything for navigation. Got hood brightness. I can lower my visor, which is absolutely crucial. But I don't see anything for navigating waypoints. Well, I'm not seeing any targets anywhere. Do a 360 scan. But failing that, I wonder if more allies have shot them down again before I even saw them. So what we'll try doing instead. I'll tell you what, I'll go back into the pre-flight menu. Airway missiles. Hey, see, we should have F4 Phantoms to shoot down. Iranian F4 Phantoms, which means in theory Tomcats could be on the cards. Hang on, was there only one person in that cockpit? Let's go back again. Airway missiles. Reload. I've got no idea what velocity scaling does, if I'm completely honest. No idea. Yeah, look, the second cockpit's empty. He's got no Rio. Right, plan mission. So assuming this is all the way it should be, and north and everything, here should be our 3 targets. I don't know who these guys are. They're up here. Yeah, 3 targets. At waypoint 0. There. At waypoint 3, which I should be able to set the altitude for a bit later. IP. IP. Right. So now, waypoint 1. Right. Altitude 18. Well, no. How can I edit that? Alright, altitude plus. Oh, I've got to do that before I place it. So, altitude, no. How do I increase the altitude for my waypoint? Oh, screw this. We'll just take off and we'll head at, we'll say 345 degrees. Same routine, closed canopy this time. 10 degrees nozzle, full throttle. Brakes off. "40 degrees nozzle. Gear up. Locate and intercept drones. There they are. There they are.
Sniper X locked on.
Well, at least we found them this time. No, we've had more. Hang on. You know what? I think they're just going to fly straight into the ground. Well, that's why we couldn't find them. There you go. Destroy drone 1, 2, and 3. They just flew straight into the ground on their own. Oh. Oh, well, at least we know what happened this time. Mission complete. Well done. Oh dear. I really didn't. That is the first time I've actually seen the mission complete screen. Oh dear. Yeah, the same thing happened when I tried doing the wingman mission. I followed him. He said, right, let's commence aerial combat maneuvers. He promptly rolled inverted and flew straight into the ground. So, let's see if quick start works. A dogfight. Will that work? Can we actually do something? Oh, that one's got 2 in. Begin mission. That's a bit nose down. Oh god. Well, if there is any targets, they're not going to last very long against the fleet.
Sniper X locked on. Sniper X, Fox 3. Sniper X locked on. Sniper X, Fox 3 locked on. Sniper X, Fox 3.
Well, that was about as... oops. Oh, guess what? It starts you with 0% throttle. Because obviously it does. Let's get the nozzles there. Well, I think that's all them dead. Starting to have some very serious doubts now. It's a classic conundrum now. Is, I mean, it's not the cheapest early access game. It's starting off at 23 quid. So the question you have to start asking yourself is how much faith you've got in it being improved. In fact, if we just have a look over here, we can see that half these islands are in fact missing. That's open mountains, open-faced mountains. We may in fact be inside the island right now. In fact, it's the bloody floating island from Sonic 3. Let's see if we actually can clip through this. Yeah, I think this is probably, of all the early access games I've bought, which admittedly isn't... Oh god, right, so... we might not see the terrain, but apparently it is still there. Yeah, of all the early access games I've bought, this one does seem to be in the worst state. That island is just half not there. Yeah, I'm starting to think about the refund option myself and maybe repurchasing if it does show signs of improvement. But as it is right now, I would recommend Air Mission's Hind over this. I mean, it's more arcadey, but It's had, I think, 3 updates so far. They've added in the K50 recently,
Sniper X.
and generally it's looking quite decent. You know, the developers do seem to want to really get it up there to at least be at Apache air assault levels.
Sniper X. Locked on.
Oh, I don't have any sidewinders. It might be too late for me now. Actually, I might have exceeded 2 hours. Do I think Harrier would be more agile? Oh, that's a hard call to make because the Harrier isn't the most agile conventional aircraft out there. Especially the first generation Harriers. Harrier 2 is generally only in the area of about 7 to 8 G at best. So, I don't know. That's probably not what I'd be concerned about in terms of it seeming a bit like sluggish for a Harrier, because they're not the most nimble thing in the sky. Yeah. I mean, right now I'm pulling about 5G, which wouldn't be... I suppose that might in fact be a... There's so many things where it's hard to just get a feel for. Like, I don't even know what my airspeed's supposed to be, because it sure as hell isn't knots. Where's the fleet? I've got no idea. I've got no idea since I've been flying in and around this island. Yeah, I think what I'm going to say on this is don't buy it yet. Keep an eye on it still, but this needs some serious patching. There's lots of crashes to desktop. Selecting certain missions just don't work. The AI doesn't seem to work yet because it just flies into the ground. Yeah, this, I know it's early access, but this would, you'd probably call this alpha state or something. It's just, there isn't a game yet. Dirt Rally, this is not. Let's see how well it responds to trying to do a vertical landing on the normal ground. Hover stop. Gear down. Yeah, that is one thing. I can tell you for a fact that the when it came to roll rate, the Harrier 1 did have a much better roll rate than the Harrier 2. Because the Harrier 2's got the bigger wing, so it's actually quite... There's quite a lot of drag when it tries to roll. And the Harrier 1 was faster, and it rolled faster. Because, I mean, since it was a smaller, shorter wing, it's like the F-104 Starfighter, that thing's got a hell of a rate of roll. I don't seem to want to slow down any more than this. Alright, there we go. We're dropping quite rapidly here. Yeah, we did not want to hover this time, did we? Boomf. I think that might just sum up the game at this point. Fish and mailed. Right, I'm going to have to look into refunding this before it's too late. Potential, but it's a lot of money for the current state it's in, and if you're not... You just, at this point, you just can't be confident if it's going to be updated or fixed. So if they seem to rapidly pump out some patches that start to seriously fix things, then probably worth looking at. But at this point, it's a hell of a gamble. So make sure you got a lot of, if you don't mind that risk. Right, to Steam.